All right, let's talk about Josh Allen going up against the Steelers defense. Listen, I already made a video on the other side of the ball, but to me, this is the far more interesting aspect of this game. I kind of talked about in that past video. If you missed it, it's on this channel. Check it out if you want. But if not, the Cliff Notes version is that basically I think the Steelers should run the ball a lot, try to limit possessions, and hope they can make a big play or two defensively. If we look at their overall Pro Football Focus grades for specific positional categories, you see that for Buffalo, Josh Allen's actually the number one graded overall quarterback. He's the third highest graded passer of the football. Pittsburgh is currently at 17th coverage, so not bad, not amazing either, though. The receiving core has been, I think, a little better than people give it credit for, but still nothing elite. And the pass blocking has also been maybe a little better than people give it credit for, but also still not elite. As for the other stuff, the pass rush, there's a big asterisk here. There just is for Pittsburgh, which is TJ Watt already announced he will not be playing come playoff time, which just that sucks. It sucks. Alex Highsmith is a number one edge rusher in my opinion. He's that good. He's fantastic. His regular stats are good. His advanced stats are good. He's someone who can do a good job. But now who's gonna step up? I mean, TJ Watt played over 900 snaps for them last season. So you're gonna have to probably have a few different guys come through. Marquise Golden, Nick Herbig. Which, those guys have graded well on top of it, but obviously you wonder how much of that is, TJ Watt and the attention that he brings to, just to opposing teams. He also helps out in the run game, which has been ninth best, but, Buffalo, the run blocking hasn't been spectacular, but the running game itself, the guys who are running with the football have done a pretty good job this season, so that's worth noting. But let's get into some film. Let's talk about what Pittsburgh is going to do and maybe how Buffalo can try and attack it. I do think, obviously Allen is a bit of a mobile quarterback, and I do think that Pittsburgh might try to throw some blitzes at Allen, kind of force him to stay in the pocket and have to get the ball to somebody else. And then it's going to come down to who can win these one-on-one matchups. So that's what Pittsburgh is doing to Kyler Murray here. Watch as Murray takes the snap. Pressure is going to eventually come, and I do wonder if that affects his throw a little bit. You look down the field at where he was throwing, and it is open. So that's kind of the pro and the con of this situation that I do think Pittsburgh is going to try and run, is they're going to probably try and have these one-on-one matchups. And if Allen can hit a couple of these throws, you can get the big plays. The flip side is, we saw just last week against Miami. Miami did this to Allen, and he essentially threw it directly to a Miami Dolphins defender. This is ways that maybe you can create some turnovers that, we'll see how well Allen does at protecting the football. But also, hey, you're Josh Allen. You got to get some splash plays too. I don't think it'd be the right strategy for Buffalo to go into this game and say, we're just going to try and play it safe. No, I think you have to attack and you have to get some big plays of your own. Don't let this game get close in the fourth quarter. We've seen how Pittsburgh can do that. I feel like this might be how they could get some big explosive play, because I do think for Pittsburgh, again, last video I talked about how run the ball a lot, limit possessions. I think they're also going to play coverage, play deep coverage, try and force Buffalo to go underneath and force Buffalo to, have to kind of methodically move down the field for two reasons. One, again, limit possessions. Turn it into an 8-possession game. It's easier to, if you're an underdog, to win an 8-possession game than it is to win a 12-possession game. But also, if you have to run 12 plays, maybe you'll get a turnover there on top of it. This situation, though, is kind of the counter. It's a 3rd down and 14. You see Kyler, there's a deep shot on the table here. It's Rondale Moore. And watch as when Murray takes the snap, he's going to look down the field, fires down the field, and there does end up being a window. It's one of those weird things where it's almost kind of maybe because Pittsburgh makes such an effort to defend down the field sometimes that they end up almost like guys assume someone else is covering the guy, and there can be windows. That being said, it's not a wide open window, right? This is going to take a perfect throw and a good catch from Kyler. Well, as from the Cardinals, I should say. Kyler isn't going to throw it and catch it, but perfect throw from Kyler, a good catch from Moore. As you see, good throw from Kyler, but not caught. That was really kind of a drop right there, really. It was not tipped there. So there's the windows, but again, for Pittsburgh, you'll kind of take that too, right? Force Allen to be perfect and hope that he just isn't on, because again, we've seen Allen have those days where he's just hitting everything, and if that happens, you're just losing. It is what it is. You're not going to win. But if he is having a normal Josh Allen day, he'll give you some, opportunities, and maybe you can, maybe he'll underthrow that, or maybe just there'll be a drop like there was there. Again, force him to make tough plays is an ideal strategy. Granted, for Buffalo, they've done a good job at methodically moving the ball down the field. I think that, this play is a good example, kind of a concept designed to beat the cover 3 zone that the Cowboys are in. I think the narrative is a bit wrong about Josh Allen. People act like he's just throwing the ball to the other team every other play, and then, also throwing a touchdown every other play. That's not exactly true. His turnover-worthy play rate, it actually has gone up as of late, but it isn't terrible. It's around middle of the pack for quarterbacks, and obviously you'll take it with the positives that he brings to the table. But like here, watch how when Allen takes the snap, he is going to, look around and looks downfield, doesn't love what he sees. Dallas has that kind of covered up. So Allen makes the most of a bad situation, which he's done a pretty good job of this season. Flips the ball to Diggs, they pick up 6 yards. Again, contrary to popular belief, the Bills are very good at this. The Bills can methodically move the ball down the field. That being said, this is still a massive win for Pittsburgh if they can get the Bills to do this. If they can force the Bills to try and work underneath, try and methodically move the ball down the field for all the reasons I mentioned. Because it can, kind of limit possessions, and because if you have to do that more frequently, there's just a bigger chance of a mistake happening, like just a regular mistake, a penalty, a sack, where, something like that. A sack's not really a mistake, but you know what I mean. But also there's the big opportunity of potential turnovers with more plays, so that's just why you want to do that. Another kind of interesting matchup I could see coming into effect here is the James Cook of it all, who's really kind of emerged as of late for the Bills. Obviously, he had a huge impact in the game that I'm pulling footage from, the Buffalo Bills, the Dallas Cowboys game. Of course, I'm using a Bills game. The Cowboys game, and I do wonder who's going to be covering Cook, because like this play, you have multiple receivers running over the middle. Cook is then going to run towards the sideline. You're going to see that Allen, when he takes a snap, there is pressure immediately, but again, Allen's so good at getting around the pressure. If he tries some of these inside moves, he can read that and get towards the outside, and now Cook has a one-on-one matchup. Allen is going to make this throw. They pick up a touchdown on that play. Cook is another guy who can beat you. We all know about Diggs. Yes, Diggs can beat you. And even Gabe Davis at times has shown the tendency to win. I do think we'll get Joey Porter on Diggs matchup, which could be interesting because those guys both like to be physical. So that could actually be very fascinating to watch. And I could see that coming into play in a big way. But I also do think that James Cook could come into play in a big way in this one. So predictions time. What am I expecting? The Steelers' defensive points per drive on the season has been very good, 1.79. But again, that is with TJ Watt, who means a ton to this team, and he will not be playing. The Bills, offensively this season, have averaged about 2.49 points per drive. And to be honest, I'm kind of expecting something relatively similar in this game. I am going to go with 2.5 points per drive. I always, for all my predictions, I just do I'm going to have a 0 in this. It's 2.5. I'm not going to go into decimals there, but I'm expecting around a similar offensive output game for the Bills here. I think that they'll probably do pretty well. So that means my final prediction in this one is going to be, I'm expecting the Bills to win. Obviously, it's 19-28, so I am expecting Bills to win, the Bills to win by a bit. I am. I think that the Bills should be pretty heavily favored in this game. It's not to say I think the Steelers can't win. Listen, we've seen the Bills lose games like this way too many times. We've seen the Steelers win games like this way too many times. I mean, this is to say that this game is a guaranteed Bills victory. You just haven't been paying attention because this happens. It does. That being said, the Bills are favored. Again, people kind of view sports in a weird way where it's like the best team always beats the worst team, almost like you're playing like the card game War, right, where like a 9 always beats a 7. The reality is it's a percentage thing. Going into the game, the Bills have, a 70% chance to win. That's how I view this situation. Bills heavy favored, but it's football. You get one defensive touchdown, you get one big George Pickens play, and you make it an 8-possession game, and the Steelers can win that way. But I don't think that's the most likely outcome, so I am predicting a Bills victory. But yeah, that's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.